what is happening in the basketball world? We just had Luka get traded for Anthony Davis yesterday, and now a huge 14 deal that happened in the WNBA. And then I thought I knew all the details, but it was still stuff being figured out. So the stuff that I talked about on my podcast and the shorts that I made, it don't even matter now because this just changed the entire landscape of the WNBA. The deal that just went on was a massive 14 deal with the Wings, Sun, Mercury, and Fever. I'm gonna just start with Dallas because they got the best return. They got a 2027 third round pick swap from Indiana. They also got Alyssa Smith from Indiana. From Connecticut, they got a 2026 second round pick swap. Ty Harris and Dejanay Carrington, who is one of the best defenders in the league. Pretty sure she made all defense last year. If she didn't, well, she was close to it because she was really damn good last year. And then she even stepped up come playoff time, and she became one of my favorite players. Then from Phoenix, the Wings got the 12th pick in the draft, and they got Minka Herbert, Heron from Phoenix. Now that first round pick means so much because the Wings already had a first pick. Now the fact they're getting the 12th pick as well, they have a pick at the beginning and end of the first round. So they're probably getting Page, and then you're gonna get somebody else to help their depth. They get, and this is a team that was really bad last year. So this is a phenomenal trade for the Dallas Wings. I really love the return that they got. But that trade is looking amazing for them. They're set up great for the future. They got some win now players. Like once they get paid, they're looking to make a push like the Fever did with Caitlin Clark last year. They're looking to get in the playoffs as an 8th seed, maybe a 7th seed. So that's the type of run they're looking to go on. So I love that trade for them. And speaking of the Indiana Fever, Kelsey Mitchell, she signed an extension, and then they get Caitlin Clark some more help. They got Sophie Cunningham from Phoenix. They traded down. They got the 19th pick now in the draft instead of 8th. But I think this is a good trade down. They also get Jaylen Brown from Dallas. So you get two solid players in return, and then you get a trade down in the draft. And it's probably somebody they're looking at that they can get, which I'm going to go deeper into my mock draft this week on my podcast, Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, every Saturday, 12 p.m. Central. But yeah, this trade is good for them too. You getting Caitlin Clark is your star, so you're going to do whatever you can to keep her there. And obviously, she's just been there a year, but you're getting Caitlin Clark help because they lost in the first round last year, and you want to make steps to keep building onto that. Get to the second round the next year, then the next year get further and further into the playoffs, and eventually win a championship with Caitlin Clark as your star. Now, the Connecticut Sun have officially traded their entire starting five from last season. They lost in the second round of the playoffs this past season. They end up getting Natasha Cloud, Rebecca Allen, J.C. Sheldon, and the 8th pick that the Indiana Fever had. The pick, I think they're going to get somebody solid with that 8th pick. But trading their entire starting lineup, that don't make sense to me. This is a huge move that they decided to do and go through with. This is what I say when this is a crazy trade, because they had a solid team last year, and then they got out the first round. They beat the Fever in the first round. Then they ended up losing in the second round. But they even swept the Fever too, if I'm not mistaken. But just trading their entire starting lineup, and then I don't know. It's like some of those players, like Dejanay Carrington and Ty Harris. I feel like you could have kept those two and got some other pieces for the people you did. Like the other trades they did it made sense. But I don't know if you should have got rid of Dejanay Carrington with how good she's been. I don't think this was the right time to trade her. They ended up going through with it, but I don't think that's a great move for Connecticut. Then you had Phoenix. They received the Phoenix Mercury received Alyssa Thomas, Satu Sabali, Kalani Brown, and Seabitch Uzon. Alyssa Thomas had a great season with Connecticut, like another player that they traded, and now she's with the Mercury, one of the best all-around players. The Mercury lost Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi this all season, so they got to make some moves. So I like to pick up of Alyssa Thomas. I like getting Satu Sabali, but the other two I'm not sure about because I don't know how much they help you win now. You lost in the first round last year. Your team probably doesn't improve much because you're not going as good as Alyssa Thomas is. She won't be able to replace what Brittany Griner did for them last season. So this team is probably a lower end playoff team if they even get there. Like they lost in the first round last year. They could very well lose again or just not make it because a team like the Dallas Wings, with all the pieces they added, could rise. And then it messes up the. And then the teams that's chemistry is hurt the most is definitely Connecticut and Phoenix, because it's like your rosters look completely different now. Like Indiana, they didn't bring in nothing too crazy. Then you're gonna bring in another draft pick. Then the Wings, they had a really bad season. So when you're a team like that, and then you bring in like really great pieces in Ty Harris, Dajane Carrington, Nelissa Smith, and you get some picks, you're set up great for the now and for the future. So I love this trade for Dallas. For Indiana, I also like it. I think it's a good move. But for Phoenix and Connecticut, I'm kind of confused because I don't think it really moves the needle, especially for Connecticut, a team that went to the second round last year. I don't think this was the move that they needed to make. And then for Phoenix, it's not terrible because they got to replace Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi, but it's not the best either. I feel like they should have been able to get some more out of this deal. But that's my thoughts and opinions on this huge trade, on this huge 14 deal. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts below. Who you think won or lost the trade? Huge weekend for basketball. Trade news all around, and the NBA trade deadline coming up. This has been a crazy week, but peace out.